it does look like the plane of the campaigns have suddenly and eventually taken off slowly, but it does look like the different political parties are making the moves and are making the impressions on their supporters in the same cities and across the nation. They are jostling in the same pool for votes. Tonight, we'll take a look at what happened in Lagos today. The women rally, according to the APC, they said this is just the tip of the iceberg, as they are ready to mobilize and ensure that their supporters go all out to vote for their candidates. This is some of the clips from the Lagos rally today in Lagos. From the march today, as you're seeing on your screen, was led by the wife of the Lagos State Governor, Ms. Bijoke Sanwo-Olu, alongside the Deputy Governor's wife, Oluremi Hamzat, and some other aides of the governor and government officials. The women, spotted in different colors of the T-shirt, came out in large numbers as the march from Tinubu Square, Lagos Island, and CMS, among other areas, and terminated at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Onikan Stadium, where Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his deputy also joined the rally. This perhaps is not going to be the first or the last that we'll be seeing on the streets of Nigeria. Lagos, for one, will be very busy, considering that the votes that are up for grabs in that state and the different political parties will want to have a bite. So we've seen over the weekend, also on the 1st of October, Labour Party members and supporters took to the streets of Lagos and several other cities across the country in what some had described as a show of force. Could this be a show of force on the side of the APC? This is also coming a day after the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, went on social media to say he's very much alive, and in a video he posted showing him riding a cycle, a gym equipment, where some have described as a show that the presidential candidate of the APC is fit. He says in that tweet, he said, "Many have said I have died, others claim." All right, there you go with that tweet that you see there. All right, then let us get talking about this and what this means for the APC and the presidential election and the general elections of 2023, for that matter. I'm being joined tonight by Mr. Oyalowo, a member of the APC and a political economist. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you, Seun, for having me. Good evening.
Yeah. Perhaps we should begin with the last story that I took about your presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu. He's posted a video, and there are talks that he's in London, that he's consulting. Those are some of the messages that are coming from your party. But I'm very sure that you have heard some of the counters against that tweet, that very video is not new. That video, it was when he had a surgery on his knee, and he was. What can you? Tell Nigerians, based on what you know and the information you have, about your leader and your presidential candidate in the APC.
I said somewhere a few days ago, that the issue about Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is that he is the main issue in this election. So anything he does is news. Some people even went as far as doing a photo shot of his cycle riding and put farm keke. And unfortunately for that company, their milk sale just shut up. So it's good for him. It tells you that Asiwaju is the main factor in this election. And apparently people will say whatever they want to say, but we are aware that the man, like I said, needed a few days off because the pressure on him is a bit too much, and he needed to rest because the campaign is pretty long. We have about 4 or 5 months to campaign before the general election. So he needs to ensure that he's not worn out by the unnecessary, or not unnecessary actually, but the show of love and camaraderie, too many people coming to see him. So yes, he needed to take that breather. However, the tweet proved that the man is healthy. They said he's in the hospital. Some even said he has died. All manner of nonsense have been said about him, but I mean, that is him. Now he posted, now they say it's an old video. I'm sure even if he comes back now, some of them will tell us, oh, since we have the president being called Jubril of Sudan, maybe he will be called Michael of Cote d'Ivoire. We don't know yet, but the truth is, that is Asiwaju Tinubu for you.
He said in that tweet, he said, many have said they have died. Others claim have withdrawn from the presidential campaign. Well, nope. This is a reality. I'm strong, I'm healthy, and I'm ready to serve Nigerians from day one. Hashtag BAT23. That was Bola Tinubu's tweet. What do you think could have led to this claim and this rebuttal from Bola Tinubu?
Because he's not deaf, he's hearing all the things that have been said.
That's an extreme, isn't it?
No, it's not an extreme. If you are, I'm sure you have a Twitter account, show. You know all manner of things that have been said. So he reads these things. On Sunday, he was with us in the BAT space that was held. He appeared there, even though he didn't say anything. He was on the space. He was listening. So he heard everything. So he's just telling you that, look, I'm here, I'm bubbling. And he had to look at the camera and give you a smile. So you know that, look, whatever you guys are saying, I'm listening.
Because that's...
And guess what? See the song he played there. It's a Nigerian artist song. It's all about Nigeria for Asiwaju. It's all about
because some of the arguments and some of the counters that came after these videos surfaced online was the fact that they seen him in this same at the time that he went for he was doing his therapy.
But just
a moment that he was wearing the same set of clothes and pictures of him with other people with his same set of clothes in this same look, and perhaps those who are asking for the true state of his health had a right for asking.
Did you see the shoes? The shoes he was wearing. If I can show you my phone, this clothes that they're talking about, there were different shoes he was wearing. Also, I also jog myself. I do exercise. I don't have to wear different clothes to prove anything to anybody. I wear the same thing because I jog the same day. I wear the same thing generally when I'm jogging, so it's not a big deal. It's in his house. So, and many people have this kind of equipment at home. I have, some other people have. So,
wow, questions being raised over his...
because it's the factor in the election. You see, 2 people dropped videos yesterday. Another person dropped a dancing video. Nobody's talking about it because it's not a factor. Asiwaju is a factor. He will always be spoken about because he matters. He is the main factor in this election.
Let's go to the rally of today in Lagos. On the 1st of October, the Labour Party and the Obedient Movement said they were doing million-man rallies, and this looks to me like APC's own version, isn't it?
We are respecters of Nigeria constitution and interest. October 1st is supposed to be a national day, so we would rather let Nigeria take the shine. We had a military parade, we had so many things happening. We don't think we should do that on October 1st. I honestly don't want to talk about these people because they are not my interest. My interest is...
They're a factor too, aren't they?
Well, to them, if they think so, it's good for them. They were announcing these things for months. They were charging themselves to pay money. Our women, I hope you know, these women are just Lagos Island women, just Lagos Island market women. We have not talked about the Ikorodu women. We've not talked about Ifakojaye, not Ketu, not Etiosa. We've not talked about Solere women. We've not even gone anywhere. And they didn't need to mobilize from anywhere. No, they didn't need to ask anybody to pay. They didn't even announce it. They just told themselves, and look at the number. And like we say, John will done the mature. Like my brother Festus Kayamo will say. And clearly, we are just testing the mic. What you have seen today is just a testing of the mic. You will see, you will hear, and you will understand. When we say Asiwaju is the biggest strategist in Nigeria political climate and stratosphere, they will see what we are talking about. This is just the testing of the mic.
What does this mean? Because Nigerians are no longer, from what I feel and hear, are no longer interested in the colors and in the fanfare. They are interested in the quality of the conversation, of the issues that these candidates are bringing
if you
to
have
bear.
noticed,
The days of those frivolities, I think, are over.
Sure.
The people of Nigeria are serious people, and they are taking their destinies in their hands.
Sure. Have you noticed
Just a moment.
all what we have been saying about, we have been sticking to one word, issue-based campaign. We have been sticking to that. For us, it's not an issue of mudslinging. You don't see us going around talking about other people. You don't see us going around insulting people. You don't see us going around maligning people. For us, what are the things that matters to Nigeria? That is what we talked about, and that's what we have been talking about, and that's what we are going to talk about. For us, it's issue-based campaign. Yes, Nigerians are serious-minded people. People can go on social media and make all the noise, create all the accounts, abuse everybody they want to abuse. But for us, Asiwaju is going to focus clearly on what are the issues and what are the things he's focusing on. This man has proven that he understands the economy. That is what he did with Lagos, and he has been saying it. He's going to replicate that. He knows about building human capital. That is what he did in Lagos. He's going to do that. He knows about building infrastructure. Fortunately for us, President Buhari has been doing a lot in terms of infrastructure. And Asiwaju has said he's going to dovetail into his own government and ensure infrastructure is built. And then in terms of security, when Asiwaju became the governor of Lagos State, Nigeria, I mean especially Lagos, was on fire then. If you remember, there was the OPC problem, serious OPC issue. They had a faction of Fashion now, of blessed memory, Dr. Fashion, and then Gani Adams faction. A lot of bloodbath then. Asiwaju, as a leader, stepped in, ensured that the war ceased. And I think that is not good enough. Lagos was such a jungle that if you go to Surulere today, you will still see the scar of those periods where every street in Surulere is a gated street. Many people don't know the history of why that is happening. I mean, why that happened. The crime rate as at that time was so bad that you couldn't. If you go to bed in Lagos, you don't know if you're going to wake up in peace. In fact, robbers were so bold then. They used to write letters to a street that we're coming today on so and so day, and we're going to rob you, and nothing will happen. But this man, what did he do? Yes, we don't have state police, but he ensured that he worked with the federal government to equip the police. Today, the RRS in Lagos is the best and the most equipped police unit in Nigeria. And then in terms of traffic management, Lagos was a jungle. What did this man do? He created something called LASMA. In terms of public transportation, he created what you call the BRT. Unfortunately, his successors have built on it. In the last few days, we saw trains arriving Lagos from Milwaukee that are going to begin to run the blue and the red line in Lagos. Those are the footprint of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In terms of environmental management and climate change, if you remember at a time, the Bar Beach was a no-go area. In fact, half of the road was taken away. Today, Asiwaju envisioned, conceived, and with a PPP arrangement, they have built what you call the Atlantic City. Today, the Bar Beach has been restored. You can pass on that road. In fact, the road has been rebuilt, and the road is standing firm. I passed on that road just last week when I was in Lagos. So this man is ready. Asiwaju is equipped. Asiwaju is ready to build the economy of Nigeria, to build the economy of the entire 36 states now, replicating what he did in Lagos. Right. From 600 million IGR to today about 559 billion. That is the man we are looking at to come and replicate the same with the economy of Nigeria.
Before we get into the core of some of these issues, some very vital political issues within your party are also giving some of your members concern. Okay. First and foremost, your party has not flagged off his campaign. And maybe fundamentally because your presidential candidate is not in the country. And the question and the poser is, but he knew that the campaign was going to start. All of you were waiting for the campaign to begin on the 20th to unveil the start of the campaign on the 28th of September. Is how many days now the campaign has started? Nothing from your presidential campaign, nothing from your presidential candidate, except for the video that we saw yesterday. And again, the question is that no manifesto, no agenda that has been released yet.
Sheon, if you know how elections have been held in Nigeria, this is the longest campaign period. And we are Nigerians. I said this somewhere, and I'm going to repeat it. The masquerade that dances early are the small ones. And when they are done dancing, they sit down and become spectators to watch the big masquerade come out. Just wait and watch the real masquerade come out. You saw what has happened in the other party. Some don't even have a campaign council, and nobody's talking about it. Does the Labour Party have a campaign council? Does the NNPP have a campaign council? Why is everybody worried about APC? Because we are the main factor. And the PDP that has a campaign council, you can see what has happened. Half of them are here, the other half are there. So we are building something. We know that we have enough time. And within the next couple of days, I told somebody this, the campaign council list is fully ready. It should be released anytime from now. Anytime from now. The Women Campaign Council was just released 2 days ago. I'm sure you follow the news. The main one is going to be coming out in the next couple of days, probably before the end of this week. So there's no issue. We have the whole of October, the whole of November, the whole of December, the whole of January, 26 days in February. We have 5 months.
I'm not the one that is in a hurry to
No, and I'm telling you that it's not an issue
Just
for
a moment. I mean, you said the masquerade, the big masquerade.
The big masquerade is
literally, or I mean, you're just. I mean, this is just a play on words. That
it's not a play on words. We are Nigerians. Proverbs are part of our lives.
Yeah. So,
you are Yoruba. Proverb is part of your life. If you speak, you know that they said. Please let me say it in Owe that words are being written on. I mean, to ride on a word like a horse, because it is what will lead you to where you are going. So proverb is part of our life. It's not a play of word. It's the reality of what it is.
So that Tinubu is the masquerade.
It's the main masquerade. The smaller ones are dancing now. So we sit down and become spectator when the real masquerade.
I hope when it comes out, it doesn't come out with a mask. That's a joke. But so let me ask you the question. And there's a lot of precedents. Yeah. And the reason why people may be skeptical about all of these things is that there is a semblance of what is happening now with your candidate in 2015 and 2019. And that your party says it's taking its time before you launch into the campaign. There are fears that just a moment.
I want to understand the sitting president now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that how your party takes its time, and how it took almost 6 or so months to be able to form a cabinet, and those tendencies are emerging when you say you are taking your time and you want the masquerade to emerge. Is it the manner in which governance is going to be undertaking? Should your party wins the election?
So you are mixing two things.
I'm not mixing. I'm asking.
This campaign is different from election. You see,
if you are approaching, if you are approaching your campaign in this manner and you are taking your time, I mean, didn't your party take its time before you release cabinet members?
Let me try and answer this question now. If you don't want me to answer, then don't ask now. Yeah, I'm trying to answer you. You see, the campaigns will start and end on the 26th, and then the election is on the 27th, isn't it? The winner will emerge in the next 2-3 days after then, right? So by 1st of March, we should know who the winner is, right? And you have March, April, May 29 to form a cabinet, to become the government. But in 3 months, the man will have formed his cabinet. He has promised Nigerians that he's going to hit the ground running. And I can assure you, we will not have 6-month hiatus to make a government. Then we were just a new party coming in. Today we are I think 12, 13, no, how many years is our party now? We were formed in 2013, right? So
yeah,
we're going to be 10 years by then. We are experienced enough.
Let me deal
so that will not be the issue.
Let me deal with you in the same coin in which you responded to my earlier question in proverb. There is a proverb in Yoruba language, and literally I will interpret it, which says that whatever will happen in the morning, it's from the evening of prior to that day that you already see it. And so, and I'm asking the question because we're looking at what has happened in the past, where your party has taken its time. Now your party is taking its time. The fear is for you now to tell Nigerians and convince them that your party is not going to go slow and your party is really ready for real business.
Because we're going to rush.
The business of Nigeria and governing Nigeria
is a serious business.
Absolutely.
It needs immediate,
so it is for you now to convince Nigerians.
But I just explained to you now that we are going to have the winner declared maybe 1st, 2nd of March latest. Because I think the last one, when we won in 2015, the winner was declared after 3 or 4 days, thereabout. So I'm expecting around the same period. So which means you're going to have the entire March, April, May to put things together. Asiwaju will have done that before May 29.
Should have done that.
Almost immediately, the National Assembly seats, I think they normally come in the first week in June. I can assure you that the names for ministerial nominees should be ready, waiting for the National Assembly to sit in the first week of June when they come in. I can assure you that. I can assure you that.
Okay. Let's go into issues. There are quick reference to Lagos State. Yeah. Each time you talk about Bola Tinubu. And for those who think Lagos is a different kettle of fish to Nigeria, yeah. The complexities are there. The ramifications of how to govern a state and a country are totally different. And you look at it, and Asiwaju and some of his friends within the APC have been the ones that have clamored, talked about the structure of this country, even before your party came into power in 2015. Is an Asiwaju that you know be ready to restructure Nigeria?
Seun, many people just throw around words. Are you aware that the National Assembly has done a lot in terms of restructuring this constitution? You followed what happened some months back.
I'm not talking about restructuring the constitution.
No,
I'm talking about
if you want to restructure the country, it has
state.
to be done from the National Assembly. You see, anybody can sit down and lie to Nigeria. I will restructure. What exactly are you restructuring? Through federalism and all those other issues. And those are issues that are paramount to Asiwaju's heart. And it will be done according to the law, not by his own fiat. He doesn't have the power to restructure. He will do what needs to be done. The National Assembly is there for you to present those areas that you feel in the Constitution needs restructure. And the APC has done a lot of work in that. I hope you are aware that Malam Nasir El-Rufai was made to lead a team, a committee that came out with a document for the APC in terms of restructure. So restructuring is an issue for us. But it's not something that you will come and lie to Nigerians. If 10 people sit down here today and talk about restructuring, if I ask you to ask each of them, what do you mean? They don't know. Restructuring is about the areas in the Constitution that are not aligned through federalism. For instance, even the North has come to the point where they say, okay, we must have state police. So it tells you that restructuring is not an event. It is an ongoing issue. You look at, for instance, federalism in terms of fiscal federalism. You look at those areas where you need to fix. You look at, in terms of, we talk about just state police, I just talk about state police. So you look at all those areas in the Constitution. So people can just throw words around to lie to Nigerians so that they will feel good. But if you ask them what exactly is restructuring, most people don't even know what they are talking about. Restructuring is making sure that the Constitution works for everybody. Those areas where you think needs to be changed must be changed, but you have to follow the law accordingly. You have the National Assembly. When they have done it, I hope you are aware that by our Constitution, before you change anything, 2/3 of the state must also acknowledge and agree to whatever the National Assembly put on paper. So this is not something you can just talk with mouth. Because when you have done it, National Assembly will go through whatever they need to go through. Then 24 out of the 36 states must also accept every area before it will now become the new ground norm. So these are issues. People just sit down in the studio and just blow big words that means nothing. So we are not coming here to lie to Nigerians. We will restructure Nigeria. We are already doing the restructuring. It has started. And it will continue. It's an ongoing event. It's not a permanency that you will just do. No, you will take your time. Every area that you think needs to be touched will be touched as time goes on.
If you're to talk about your candidate and his pedigree, you will probably say the major thing is that your candidate Bola Tinubu did well in Lagos, so he deserves to be Nigeria's president.
He's a Democrat of Democrats. I was in the university when we did the June 1993 election. Asiwaju was one of those people who sacrificed everything to ensure that we faced the military and chased them out at the personal expense of his own life. His home was burnt down. His family was hounded. He was jailed. When he came out of jail, they burned down his house again. This man had to run away with his wife to leave so that he can fight again. The man has proven over time that he's a consummate Democrat. And I can assure you, Asiwaju is a Democrat of Democrats. And Tisha, let me ask you a question. If you're looking for another job today, I'm not saying you want to leave China, it's just an example. What will you present? Is it not what you have done here before? If I'm looking for a job today, my CV must consist of the things I've done in the past.
So the 8 years of Bola Tinubu in Lagos is the credential that your party is presenting?
It's his biggest credential. But beyond that, he was a former senator. He had worked in some of the best Fortune 500 companies. So, and as a leader, he has groomed people in terms of human capital development. Lagos is a typical example. And like I keep saying, your CV must be what you have done in the past. Let's put other people beside him. Nobody comes close.
Yeah. It seems that there is a modeling of the issue. So when they refer to the Bola Tinubu's 8 years in Lagos, people lump the Fashola days,
Yeah, because Asiwaju did something that is very important.
Is that fair to be able to lump all of...
if you ask...
In fact, people are even...
No, if you ask my... See, the person you just mentioned today, Governor Fashola, former Governor Fashola, is my elder brother. If you ask him today, he will tell you clearly that whatever they are doing was the blueprint that was built by Asiwaju. They just continue. If you ask Governor Sanwo-Olu, there's also my elder brother. These are people that I will sit down with. They will tell you clearly that whatever they are doing today was because of what Asiwaju has put down. And they are following that blueprint. So that is a leader. That's what we are talking about. You cannot fix a state, a country in 8 years. But what you do is you envision something. You start it, you build it, and then let your successors build on that. That is what makes leadership. I mean, everybody knows that success without a successor is pure failure. A leader that does not groom other leaders, you are walking alone. Like the Liverpool people will say, you should never walk alone. A leader must work with a team. That is the truth. So this man has built a team, and his team continues to work. And we want the same thing for Nigeria, because Nigeria does not have a proper recruitment system. If this man becomes our president today, and he will by the grace of God, when he becomes a president, there will be a blueprint for Nigeria. That even if his 8 years does not conclude that blueprint, because you can't conclude in 8 years, you are sure that the next people coming will build on that. That is the Asiwaju we are talking about.
Thank you so much, Oyalowo, for coming tonight.
Thank you, Shehu, for having me.
You touch on sports. You know, I cover sports for several years.
Good.
And there are some of my friends and my younger brother who are Manchester United fan. When you talk about successor, and when we wonder what happened after Sir Alex Ferguson left Manchester United, they were beating Blue-Black yesterday, 6-0, 6-3. That was how it ended.
Yeah,
when you talk about success
without successor. That is it.
Would you say Alex Ferguson was not a success?
Somebody from the inside. You see, no, let me say this.
I just wanted to.
When left, he built somebody called Mikel Arteta. There was a hiatus in the middle. But today, Mikel Arteta is sitting pretty on top of the EPL.
You're going to an area that you and I can debate forever, because that's another interest area for me. Thank you so much, Oyalowo, for coming. I wish you and your party the very best.